Hi, I'm Jessica Coonahan and this is Coast Community News 5 at 5, March 19. This week, women march for an end to gender-based violence. Rik Hart explains forensic audit. MPs clash over council. Severe weather warnings for the Central Coast. Federal Minister for Education opens ET Australia, and a new birthing documentary is born. But to start, following International Women's Day, almost 500 women marched along the Gosford waterfront on March 15, part of the nationwide movement March for Justice. A student from the Central Coast, Phoebe, was one of the 4 speakers at the demonstration. Here is what she had to say.
We should have respect, we should have our rights, we should have equality, because otherwise our lives will constantly be lacking quality. The quality that most men have in the blink of an eye or the click of a finger. Because this feeling of not belonging lingers worse than the boys' BO on the bus, or someone screaming with lots of words with cuss. But I have hope, and we have hope for a better future. We're not rotten to the core. We are women. Hear us roar!
The forensic audit was released at the council meeting on March 9, though many readers remain perplexed. We decided to ask Rik Hart directly.
What the forensic audit found, that all the processes that are laid down by the Office of Local Government, they were followed correctly. However, there were errors being made because of the fact that it's, if I take the example in waste, where we collect waste bins from residents, which is done by contractors. So for example, that contract fee gets paid out through our materials and contracts line. So it's in that expenditure area. But then we have staff that collect waste from bins in the streets and so on, for, in the town centres, etc. Now that's our staff that are collecting those, but that staff cost has to be charged against that revenue that comes in from the waste charge. Now, what they've been doing is we didn't get that quite right in places.
And it is getting a little heated in local politics. David?
Yes, State Member for Wyong, David Harris, has called for Terrigal MP Adam Crouch's resignation as the Parliamentary Secretary of the Central Coast in relation to the proposed rate increases. He told us why in an interview.
When I was the Parliamentary Secretary for the Central Coast, when we were in government, I was required to consider things in terms of the whole Central Coast, not just my electorate. Now I'm the member for Wyong, and I'm speaking out on behalf of my electorate, who, if rate harmonisation happens, will pay 20% lower rates. So that's significant. And if you have a look at land values in Wyong Shire, they're generally lower than the old Gosford city. Our income base is lower. And so having to pay higher rates and not getting that rent relief is a real imposition on our people and our businesses, because it means that if you're a business in the entrance or Wyong, you're paying higher rates than a business in Terrigal or Gosford. And that's clearly not fair. And I said quite clearly in my press release that if Adam was to bring forward a proposition that reduced the Wyong rates, well then he should keep his job. But you can't bring in something that artificially keeps one end of the coast higher rates for longer, even though they've already been suffering the pain, whilst looking after your own area because you're getting political pressure.
And naturally, Adam Crouch has responded. Here's what he had to say.
Well, look, what I would say is that if anybody should be resigning over this, it should be the 6 Labor councillors and 2 independents who spent all of their time concealing from the public the true financial situation the council was in. And, the community are rightfully furious about that. They withheld this information from the community and also from the state government. So that's who should be resigning.
Now, there's been a lot of construction across the Central Coast, with lots of it in the final stages. So we thought we'd give you an update on all the projects that are almost finished on the Central Coast here. First up, On the list is the new Medical Institute in Gosford, which we had a little look around. It will be opening in July, with many excited about this almost finished university campus. The boardwalk at Terrigal is also almost finished, with construction speeding along to completion. And an almost finished roundabout at Ettalong is awaiting finishing touches. And there's an almost finished railway bridge at Lissa Road too. Anyway, bit of fun. Back to you, Hayley.
Thanks, David. The Federal Minister for Education and Youth, Alan Tudge, was on the Central Coast on March 12 to open the new ET Australia Secondary College within the Imperial Shopping Centre in Gosford. Mr Tudge and MP Lucy Wicks both spoke at the opening.
Yeah, well, we've provided $1 million towards the construction of this school right here in the shopping centre.
Making sure that every student gets the education that they deserve, that every student has a pathway to success. And in the words of one of the students I spoke to today, making sure that every student knows that there are many different ways to be able to solve problems, deal with challenges and still get great success. And that's one of the reasons I love this school. I think the learning environment here is second to none.
Now it's time for sport with Hawk.
Thanks, Hayley. 3 big wins to report this week, the first 2 occurring last weekend at Central Coast Stadium. On Saturday, the New Zealand or Central Coast Warriors started NRL Round 1 with a 19-6 win against the Gold Coast Titans. The season's opening try going to Bailey Saronen. 2 more tries followed for the Warriors in the second half. First a crash up by Leeson Armau, then a lovely offload by Bunty Afoa, feeding Cody Nikorima in to score under the posts. It was a very different day on Sunday with heavy rain threatening to turn the pitch into a bog. But after a delayed start, the Mariners took to the field against Perth Glory. Although ending in a 2-2 draw, the single-point outcome has maintained the Mariners' cushion in first place. In third place is Melbourne City, with 2 games in hand on the Mariners. But even if they win both, they will still be 1 point behind the league leaders. Fittingly, it will be these 2 teams who go head-to-head on Monday at Amy Park. And finally, Central Coast local Matthew Graham has won the International Ski Federation's World Cup Crystal Globe for men's mogul skiing. Bad visibility in Almaty, Kazakhstan forced officials to cancel the final day of races, resulting in Graham remaining unchallenged in the top spot. Here's what he had to say.
I guess today was very unfortunate with the weather, and I'm very sorry for Ben Cavett and Ludwig Bjelstrom to not be able to go to war with me today and try and go after this, but yeah, right now I'm just very happy to be holding this trophy.
Thanks, Hawk. It's been a wild and woolly couple of days, with over 100 millimetres of rain falling in the last 36 hours. Local streets and main roads have been flooded, prompting fresh calls for caution, and there's much more to come according to the Bureau. A severe weather warning was issued today at 10:43 a.m. for possible life-threatening flooding, intense rainfall and gusty conditions. Back to you, JC.
Thanks, Harry. All of these stories and thousands more can be found on our website or in this week's Coast Community News, Coast Community Chronicle and Pelican Post. Subscribe to our socials for updates. And to end, we wanted to share with you a new documentary that just played in Avoca and will be in Long Jetty in April. The documentary Birth Time explores the world of maternity services and the reasons why women are moving back to traditional birthing methods such as home birth. We will leave you with a segment from the trailer, but first, remember it is the autumn equinox tomorrow, meaning the exact balance of day and nighttime. So take good care during the weather event and have a well-balanced weekend. We'll see you next week.
What would it take for all women to emerge from their births physically well and emotionally safe?
I can't believe you gave birth to that baby.
We're just trying to change the way our women are treated.
They need a voice.
They need to feel empowered, supported, in control.
We need love. Women that love themselves, that know their bodies, that are okay in their own skin.
The body is just such a miracle. Mother Nature is such a miracle. So
the vagina is such a miracle.
Birth has been taken away from women for the same reason that so many other things have been. It's this incredible intersection of politics, medicine, culture.
When we set off on this journey, we could never have imagined the truth we know now.